Welcome back to episode 2 of Would You Rather, a little mini series we're doing here in the middle of the podcast while we come into summer and maybe give you a break from some of the technical things. So, Elliott, how's it going today before we jump into these questions? I hope you're ready.
I hope I'm ready, but my exciting thing is I'm waiting for my grass to grow. I'm sure everybody's really waiting to hear that and sitting on edge, but I am. I've been watering for a little bit, not a ton because we get good rain here, but I'm hoping for new grass because we had to dig up the yard. That's my big news.
So do you like go out there and measure every day? Like, is it... Or is
No,
it
I
not,
put some straw down. I'm just kind of waiting.
Okay. So about as exciting as watching paint dry, it sounds.
Exactly. That's the joke. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah. I'm excited for this episode today. I know last time we did like more numerical answers and we touched on maybe some of our preferences and values, but I thought these ones were pretty interesting as well. Maybe to just think more about how we think about our money or maybe don't think about our
more
money.
values oriented.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hit you with the first one. This is fascinating because a lot of times when, I don't know if it's the same for you, but when other, people come in looking for help on their finances, they're always so quick to like fail themselves. I feel like I haven't saved enough. I'm not doing this. I paid too much in taxes. We're going to talk about taxes a little bit later, but would you rather never compare your finances to someone else, or would you rather always know that you're beating them?
I think the first. Yeah. Repeat the first part again.
Would you rather never compare your finances or know that you're always beating them?
Yeah, I would do the never compare the finances because you read studies on this and it's like the keeping up with the Joneses. I think a lot of people are familiar with, and it's hard not to compare. So it's in our human nature, right? We work around this and it's still like, oh, that person has that house or that car or, this perception of wealth, or they're traveling and who knows what their bank account looks like or their investments or anything like that. But I find that, it would be a peaceful world, I think, for myself and a lot of people if you never compared. Now, would it be nice to beat people? Sure. But that would also introduce new awkward dynamics and relationships and money problems. Like there's a whole host of things we could talk about on that end. But for me, just the peace of mind that would come with, I'm never thinking about my finances relative to someone else's and I'm just content. I don't know who wouldn't sign up for that. I meet with a lot of people who never feel like they have enough, even though they do.
Yeah. I actually thought it was a more interesting question until you answered it that way, because in my brain, it was like, oh yeah, well, if I never compared to anyone else, like, I guess I've already won, right? Like if
in a way, yeah.
If there's nothing else to compare to, what are you losing to, I guess? But I don't know. It was just the way you said it that made me think that. But yeah, I'd rather not compare. I feel like personally I'm pretty good at this. Like I'm still the guy who drives, an old car that I paid $2,000 for. Like I don't care what people.
Yeah.
It's just it's not a valuable thing to me. So yeah, I'd definitely choose that one as well.
I could make a case for the other one, though, if we're both choosing the same one, though. This is 1 for 4, I think, out of the question so far where we're agreeing. But and I would not choose beating them, but I could see for a lot of people the appeal. Like if I'm beating someone at my finances, that means I'm probably pretty absurdly wealthy. Like one could argue, I guess, the richest person on earth or the wealthiest.
Well, then we'd have to define like beating them, right? Like,
yeah.
We could go down a whole nother rabbit hole here. Like, is it effectiveness of the dollars being used? Because I think we could make some arguments that maybe, some of the wealthiest people out there aren't necessarily being good stewards of their dollars. I don't know what beat means. Like,
sure.
That's an interesting thing too.
I could see the appeal of it though, to know like,
oh, sure.
Because in that, like, maybe you're not at peace, but you're very, I don't know if happy is the right word, but like, you have a wealth. You're financially secure, which I know secure, like wrong words here, but I could see for people who maybe didn't grow up with as much money or don't feel confident about their finances, like just beating someone.
Oh, I
Sounds nice.
100% get the appeal of it, and like
Yeah,
maybe
I'm choosing that one.
the desire for, you're going the other way now.
No, I'm still choosing the first one. I'm trying to make like a case. I could see why that would appeal for people, but for me, like the peace of mind of never having to compare finances, or if someone brought it up, you're just, I don't know, that part of
Yeah.
your brain's turned off. Sign me up.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going there, but let, let's stay in a similar vein. But would you rather always feel like you never had enough money, or never know how much money you actually had?
You go first on this one.
Oh man. I mean, I guess just a way, because it's implying that I'm going to feel not good, like feeling like there's never enough money. I guess I'd rather just go the ignorance is bliss route on this one. Like, I mean, because then we can take it to the extreme, right? If I go to a restaurant and my check bounces, well, check bounces, debit card doesn't go through, like, I guess I still wouldn't know how much money I had, or the fact that I didn't have any money. Like, at what point would you be forced into reality of like, oh, you can't get another credit card? But assuming that's not part of the scenario and not reading outside the question, I guess I'd rather just not know than feeling like I never have enough money, because that's not a good feeling. And even though I have more money than I ever thought I would as a kid, like I don't like the feeling of not having enough money.
So you're going with the ignorance is bliss approach.
100%.
Interesting.
Max out those credit cards. That's not advice, by the way.
It's interesting. As you were talking, I changed my answer.
Interesting.
And I think it was your restaurant example where we're pretending that we're 90 and we're still writing checks at restaurants. But I was thinking that ignorance is bliss would be nice, but then I was thinking how awful I would feel if I couldn't pay the bill.
But I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. Even if you can pay the bill, does it really feel that much better if you feel like you can't because you don't feel like you have enough money? Is there really that much of a difference?
I think there is, because you're still at the restaurant. You still ordered food. Like, you've still made the decision to go there, order food, enjoy the meal. And
well, what if, because you feel like you don't have enough money, you never go to the restaurant because you don't think you can? Like, then do you just devoid yourself of that enjoyment at all? At least in my case, you got to eat the meal, right? Now it's more of a dine and dash situation and hope you don't get caught.
Yeah. Huh. I feel like I'm leaning towards the having money but never feeling like enough. Because I feel like that is a lot of people's natural state, actually. Of like,
Yeah.
I can't feel like I can do this. Now, there's probably a degree of that, right? There's I never go to the restaurant, or I go to the restaurant but I feel guilty. And I go to the restaurant and I don't feel great about spending the money, but I still do. Like, there's a spectrum here, I think, of what's comfortable. But I think I would pick that because I feel like that's a natural state that a lot of people operate from, of like, I can't afford that camp for my kid, or I can't pay for my grandkid to go to XYZ or take my family on vacation or something like that. And sometimes they do it, because I think in the question, you still sometimes do it. You just feel like you can't do it.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, I did go straight to the extreme of assuming that my account's hitting zero. The question doesn't imply that. I just wouldn't know how much money I had.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, which will give you more anxiety, like assuming you never have enough, even though you probably do, or just not knowing how much you have.
Yeah.
Like which one would cause more anxiety, I guess.
And I think the other one for me, like when we talk about money scripts and money values and that sort of thing, like not knowing how much money you have, that's so far outside the realm of me. Like I can't necessarily imagine that. So I don't know if that's a real possibility, even though I was thinking about that initially. Yeah. Interesting what it brought up.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, yeah, I don't know. And like, I've had that conversation before sometimes too, where it's like, I wish I could be a bit more carefree with my money. So maybe that's where maybe that's, because like we are like intensely like in tune with it, right? It's like, it's what we do, and we help other people do that. So it's like, to not do that is very foreign.
Yeah, I could see that being really freeing.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a bad answer with this one.
No.
I don't think there's a bad answer in any of them, but this is the
Sorry,
one where I feel like
I
it could
influenced
swing.
your answer by, the theoretical check bounce at the beginning.
Yeah, no, I think that's good though. That's a good example of like how that could change slightly how I'm thinking about the question and what I value.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's roll into the third one for today. Would you rather never feel stressed about your money ever again, or
sign me up,
or never pay taxes again?
I'm still going with the first one.
But isn't that kind of like what I was getting at last time? Like, if I didn't know what I don't know, like I might feel joy. But you were okay with feeling stressed last time. So I'm just curious. I'm going to push back.
I think the other, like, it's framed differently now, right? Like, because I can be stressed about money and then I have to pay taxes, right? That's one scenario. Or I can just never be stressed about money.
Well, yeah, but don't taxes cause stress too.
But I'm not stressed.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
right?
fair.
I'm not stressed. Like I'll pay taxes and then I'm not stressed. Like we're all paying taxes anyway, and most of us are stressed. So I'm joking somewhat, but at the same time not. Like I know there's a lot of people who pay like a lot in taxes, right? And that is a pain point. But it's sort of the necessary, like if you told me I could get out of taxes forever, like that sounds cool, but at the same time there's sort of like, one could argue a civic responsibility to pay taxes and do all those sort of things. But I think more importantly, like I pay taxes and then I'm never stressed about money. That's where my mind goes. That sounds pretty good. I think a lot of people would sort of take that, pay your fair share.
I thought you were going to go like, some of the finfluencers out there saying, oh, like this person only has Roth, like what a noble deed that they've done. Like, no. Whatever. But I'd obviously go with you, since my last answer was all about not feeling bad. So I think that's a pretty easy one. I thought it was interesting though. I'm very curious if there's anyone out here listening who would have the counterpoint, like about the taxes.
I'd also be very curious about like very wealthy people, like prominent figures in our society. I'm not going to name names, like where they would fall in that. That would be a really cool interview.
Yeah. Are you saying they're not stressed about money?
Well, I'm curious what they would choose, right? Like presumably they're paying a lot in taxes. Certain people, at least.
Depending on which news outlet you tune into.
Sure. Yeah. But let's pick someone who's like paying millions or tens of millions of dollars in taxes.
Oh, they don't do that, Elliott. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Certain people do though. I would be very curious about their answer on would they choose to continue paying those taxes and feel stressed about money? Because I imagine they have their own stressors. It's just a different type of stress and different set of problems. Or would they choose more of the peaceful life, for lack of better words, and then continue to pay those taxes and that stress goes away?
Yeah.
I'm not in that position, so I'd be curious.
Yeah, I think of all the questions today, I think this one about taxes would be the most interesting to have like a large survey on.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I'm not here to say like, yay taxes, but I think taxes kind of get a bad rap. Like they're like this penalty when it's really not. Like, it's really not. But it's just,
I hear you.
It's a psychological framing that we've had for centuries, honestly, at this point. So it's very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this was fun.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. And if anyone has any questions for us, we'll be more than happy to do another set of these later on in the year after you've listened to these episodes, and maybe we can do some would you rathers from the listeners. How does that sound?
Sounds great, Matt. Sign me up.
All right. Well, we'll take care of it then, and it was good to see you, Elliott.
Enjoy.